Let's look at the Sapphire HD 3850 from ATI and AMD. The Sapphire 3850. Now, let me just say right off the bat, with the new drivers, this thing's really fast. I've been surprised by a lot of the benchmarks. Really surprised. 512 megabytes of GDDR3, the memory clock on this card is at 1656. Also, the core clock on this is 668 megahertz. We got 320 stream processors, which is a lot of stream processors. That's a lot more than any of the NVIDIA cards. And we also, well, it's also a 256-bit card. Now, the one difference, some people say like, hey, how come the NVIDIA cards are really fast? They only have 100 stream processors. Well, the NVIDIA cards, they clock the stream processors separately from the core clock. Here, they don't. So, even then, this thing is really competitive in its price range. I'm actually surprised. Should I just tell them the benchmarks? I mean, that's all I really wanted to make this video for, just to talk about the benchmarks on this card. It's extremely slim as well, very slim, and the cooling unit only needs up one slot, and the cooling unit is small, quiet, and does its job. And that's all I really care about. As long as it does its job, I'm happy about that. And the fact that it's nice, small, doesn't produce a lot of noise. And also, if you're into HD content, you want to watch movies, these cards are way ahead of any of the competition. They come with HDMI in the box with audio. That's right, right in the box. You got this. DVI on one side, HDMI on the other. Full 1080p is supported with this, and 5.1 channels of surround sound is delivered by this card. So that's awesome. All right, let's talk about the benchmarks in games. BioShock, 1680 by 1050. The 3850 with the brand new drivers. With the old drivers, it was around 44 frames a second. With the new drivers, it came all the way up to 55 frames a second. The 3870 is 56 frames a second. So with the new drivers, this card was about the same speed as the 3870 in BioShock. That's awesome. Compared to the 8800 GT, that card was at 52 frames a second. This card beat an 8800 GT after the new drivers. And also, we were able to overclock this a little bit. With the overclock, 59 frames a second. It's nice. All right, Need for Speed, the most wanted 1680 by 1050. This card, with the new drivers, 65 frames a second. A 3870 is 69 frames a second, and the 8800 GT did get a little bit higher on that one. It was 80 frames a second. But as you can see here, from those two benchmarks, this card does a good job. It's not quite up to par on Crysis. I would not recommend this for playing Crysis on really high resolutions. 1024 by 768, you're going to be able to get over 30 frames a second with this card with a decent system, so that's cool. Also running on medium settings. Doesn't quite compete with some of the cards that are 3 times as expensive, but those cards are 3 times as expensive. So, all in all, it's a really cool card, plus all the features you get with HD. Also, you can run dual monitors with this, right there. 2 ports, 2560 by 1600. One of these is included in case you still have VGA. DVI on one side, VGA on the other. You see there we have an S-Video spot right there. And maybe you have a composite you want to send over to your monitor there. S-Video, then composite. Also in the box, this is kind of cool. If you want to run a component signal, S-Video on one side, component on the other. So you can send that over there. That'll support 1080i. And then again, we also have the HDMI that supports 1080p. Now, if you want to run this in CrossFire, if you have one of the new AMD motherboards, you can run 4 of these in the same system, or you can mix and match this with the 3870. Here's a really good idea. With CrossFire X, even with the new Intel X38 and X48 motherboards, you can run a 3870 or a 3870X2, and then run this as the secondary card, which is great, being able to mix and match those two. You'll still get like an extra 20 or 30 frames a second, and you're only using up one slot, so you got room for a sound card. Hope I'm giving you guys some good ideas. Also, the power requirements are, well, it doesn't require a lot at all. You can run this with 500 watt power supply with no problem. You need a 6-pin PCI Express connector. If you do not have a 6-pin PCI Express connector, you need one Molex. It comes with this in the box. One Molex on that side. On the other side, it's that 6-pin PCI Express connector. And they've included everything you need in the box to get going. So that's cool. And again, if you're into HD content, this thing offloads virtually all of the load of decoding Blu-ray, HD DVDs, if you still have HD DVD, and any downloaded HD content or any content that's on your hard drive. It's going to decode all that right here. If you look at your CPU while you're watching one of those, you'll notice the CPU utilization is going to be like 5 or 6%. So that's awesome. All in all, great card with the new drivers, especially the new Catalyst drivers. It's getting some really good scores. And as the new drivers come out, you'll always see the ATI cards get faster and faster and faster. So there you have it. The 3850 from Sapphire. 512 megabytes of memory. All in all, great card for the money. See you next time. For more information on the Sapphire Radeon HD3850, go to CompUSA.com and type A271-3852, or call us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 1-800-CompUSA.